So good morning to everyone. So last class we have seen the inter-process communication operations. So in this class we are going to see about the message passing and other IPC mechanisms. So in this message passing we are having the CPU1 and CPU2. The message is not stored on the communication link but rather at the center and receivers at the endpoints. So in contrast, the shared memory communication can be seen as a memory block used as a communication device, so in which all the data are stored in the communication link and memory. Next one is signal. So the another format of inter-process signal communication commonly used in Unix is the signal. A signal is a simple because it does not pass data beyond the existence of signal itself. A signal is analogous to an interrupt, but it's entirely a software creation. A signal is a generation by a process and transmitted to another process by the operating system. A UML signal is actually a generalization of the Unix signal, while a Unix signal carries no parameters other than the conditional codes. A UML signal is an object. So it's carrying an parameters as an object attribute. An UML signal behavior of the class is responsible for the throwing signal as indicated by send. The signal object is indicated by the signal stereotype. Okay, so in this diagram we are going to see about the signal commands and what are the signal classes and how to analyze the signal behavior in this diagram. Okay, so the next topic is evaluating the operating system performances. So how to evaluate the operating system performance means the context switches recovers times to 0. So although it is often reasonable to neglect the context switch time when it much smaller than the process execution time, context switching can add significant delay in the some cases. So we have assumed that we know the execution time of the processes, in fact, but can be bounded by worst cases and best cases execution time. So we probably determine the worst cases or best cases times for the processes in isolation, but in fact they interact with each other in the cache. So cache conflicts among the processes can drastically degrade the process execution time. Okay, the next topic is power management and optimization process. What is meant by power management and optimization? The RTOS and the system architecture can use a static and a dynamic the power management mechanism to help the manage and the system power consumptions. A power management policy is a strategy to determine when to avoid the power down mode. Power down mode can cost unnecessary power. So powering down too soon can cause a severe performances penalties. The requester may have to wait for an activity period. So in the worst case, the requester may not make a deadline due to the delay incurred by the system startup. The system may restart itself when no activity imminent. As a result, the system will be waste power. So in this applications and device drivers, hardware platforms, and kernel application control peripheral interface drivers and the power management unit will describe the power management system inside the processes. Okay, so thank you. So in this class we have seen that power management and software optimization techniques. So in the following classes we are going to see about the multi-rate system and multi-processor system. Okay, thank you.